Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Introducing Tamarac Gardens handcrafted herbal remedies, teas, and skincare. Made with weeds, wildflowers, and wild harvested herbs. In Pacific Northwest, their products will heal your skin, boost collagen, lighten dark spots, and slow aging. Plus, it is safe for babies, grandmas, and everyone in between. From salves to headaches, bug bites, and arthritis to supplements for the liver, kidney health, they harness God's bounty for your health and to keep you out of the doctor's office. Family owned in North Idaho, Tamarac Gardens dermatologist recommended products. Support your body inside and out because your health deserves better. Visit tamaracsgarden.com today with promo code Badlands and you'll get 10% off your order. $10 off your order. That's tamaracsgardens.com, promo Badlands for $10 off of your order.
Virtual tickets for GART 10 at Cocoa Beach, Florida are now available. Grab them at a special early bird price between now and October 15th. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/events to snag the lowest price for virtual tickets. We'll see you at GART.
Science proves that a healthy immune system is the body's first defense against the smallest of ailments to the most catastrophic. Coriolus versicolor is the most sought-after, all-natural supplement for both humans and pets to help boost the immune system. There are over 400 studies worldwide on its effectiveness in humans, including Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and now from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine. Together, we can help reverse this terrible tide now plaguing your loved ones and give them the immune-boosting supplements that they need.
Deodorant should do more than cover you up. It should protect you all day long.
Dude, the deodorant stick is legit. I like the mint one. And, you go work out and you kind of get you get funky if you work out. Dude, at the end of my workout, I'm sweating, shirt got all those sweat. I'm like, dude, I still smell good. I absolutely love it. If you guys haven't tried it, try it.
That's the difference with Soft Disclosure. No aluminum, no chemicals, just clean, natural ingredients that fight odor and keep you fresh through every workout, every meeting, every moment.
I've always struggled with the you can't use aluminum deodorant because you're going to die if you use it kind of thing, because all of the non-aluminum deodorant products suck pretty much. Yeah. This is different. This is all day. You're all day good, and you're not putting any of that disgusting chemicals right near your lymph nodes.
Soft Disclosure deodorant, real protection, real freshness, built on truth. Available in mint and lemon grapefruit. Visit softdisclosure.com and use promo code Badlands for 15% off.
All American first.
I call it the woke rifle.
Jews are out here stacking up businesses.
How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles?
If I would never take my own life. Okay? You hear that, Israel?
I refuse to play the Democrats, Republicans game anymore. I stopped that a long fucking time ago. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shipwreck Show. My name is Shipwreck, and I'll be your hostess with the mostest, and I have a very special guest tonight. Got to be the most hated man on earth. Nobody brings the heat like you did today. Lord.
I mean, what is Twitter really for if it's not for fighting with people?
Amen.
Right?
Amen. Welcome to the show,
I wish
you guys.
it was for more, but
it was bad. Listen, we've gotten hate. Like I told you back, we got a cease and desist.
Yep.
But this Israel stuff is just it's brought monsters out of people that I followed. I followed War Clandestine.
Yep.
Am I muted? No, I'm not. For a long time. And then all of a sudden he just blocked me. And then I went to look and he's like, pro-Israel, 7K. And I was like, oh.
Anyone that uses the word disinformation unironically.
Oh my God. What is with so why do you get so much hate? Let's just go. Why do you get so much hate?
What's for the same reason that everyone does these days, is you only get hate if you are speaking your truth, and maybe you're not right about the truth, but you're at least speaking your truth. And there's an whole lot of people that are on narrative control. And I think that the Israel one is the obvious the obvious one that people throw a lot of hate around because it's the deepest propaganda pit that goes the furthest back and has the most money infused into it in a lot of ways, right? And I think that everyone that wasn't speaking about it, that then starts speaking about it for the first time, experiences just how intense that program is, and just how intense the propaganda pushback and the demonization and the name calling and the cease and desist and everything else are. And it's kind of hard to it's really impossible to describe until someone actually experiences it, right? And over the last 2 years, we've gotten to see a lot of people that are in the information spaces in various ways, but haven't spoken on it, and then start for the first time, and they're like, whoa, what is going on? I didn't say I hate Jews. I just said maybe killing thousands of civilians is not the best look. And now you're, the most evil Nazi that's ever been. So,
well, so when October 7th happened, because we were balls deep in the Ukraine war and the money laundering and all the senators, right? And then in 24 hours, we went from Ukraine to Israel. And when we came out, there was some article that came out and they were like, hey, there was a stand down, or there was talk of a stand down order. There was talk of how long it took the IDF to get from one place to the other in order to save these people, that it took entirely too long. And I made a video about it and I posted it to TikTok, and the people came. And these were people that followed me. These were people that were in no masks, the vaccine's fake, the COVID was fake. These are those people. And it was, if they're God's people, and if you don't stand by, I'm like, they're our greatest allies. And I was gobsmacked. I had to take a day because I'm like, did I get this wrong? But I'm like, no, I didn't get this wrong.
Which is a rational response when you post something and a whole bunch of people that seem like your audience are like, no.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, what? Am I the asshole? Am I the idiot? And you quickly realize, no, you're just not part of a propaganda campaign. You're a regular person with an opinion.
How long has this been going on? As far as you've seen?
I mean,
with the propaganda
all of my understanding before, I started looking into it the month before October 7th, and I posted my first video about it on October 6th. So
look at you, just ahead of the curve.
Which was bizarre.
But
bizarre. All of my understanding of what came before is posthumous kind of examination, just like everyone else looking backwards right now. Hindsight is 2020. But as far as I can tell, it's been going on since the 70s and 80s, particularly the 80s. Since video footage started coming back from Gaza onto live TV for America, that was when Israel was like, oh, that's the most important front in this war, not the actual war. Israel has always, ever since they kind of subdued the Arab nations, the 6 Day War and all that, and they kind of achieved a certain measure of stability and their own strength there, especially since they got nukes, however the hell that happened. Since then, the propaganda war has been their most important war front. That's targeted directly at us, directly at Americans. And when you look backwards at the propaganda campaigns and at the things that our leaders were saying, the things that AIPAC was doing, it starts to become more and more apparent that it starts to make sense that people can have such intense feelings about this when it's connected to their religion and it's connected to what they have been not just religion, but I was raised in a very atheist world in the Northwest in a liberal town, but still the way you're taught about the Holocaust and World War II and the Jewish identity and Jewish people is zero about what Judaism actually stands for. And that's not a dig. I just mean it's not actually about Judaism. It's about this atrocity thing that's just seared into young Americans' brains. So there's all
atrocity propaganda.
Exactly.
It was it's a legit thing. I had to look it up with the microwave babies and the gutting of pregnant women during October 6th, because I'm like, this sounds familiar, and it was familiar. They have used it a lot in the past. Those exact same things, exact same wordage. There was propaganda that went around this week talking about when the hostages were released. And they were like, it's only the men.
Where are all the women? I can't believe they killed all the women.
Not believe that was happening. Because I remember during the first hostage release, it was the women and children that were let go.
Yep.
I could not believe that. And I'm not talking about just random idiots on the internet. I'm talking about these massive accounts that built their entire following on an America First agenda. And
America First has been a contentious battleground for much longer than we realized.
Apparently.
I think Nick Fuentes knew it for a long time because he was doing his fucking thing, getting canceled, being a problem.
Where do you stand with Nick Fuentes? Just curious.
I like I don't align with him in all of his opinions at all. Particularly his opinions about women. I would be super interested to like kind of debate that with him and just kind of talk it out.
Sure.
But like I like him. I just like freedom. I like people that speak freely. I like people that have zero filter. It's just way more fun to hang out with people with zero filter, even when they're offensive.
I agree, and I think, but that's where we're supposed to get to. Like, that's freedom of speech at its core.
We're all adults here.
Yeah, you can say what you want. I can handle it emotionally.
I thought it was facts don't care about our feelings, and so the way I feel about Nick Fuentes is that like more power to him. And I mean the main thing that like I'm not really concerned about the accusations about his character, about like is he evil. The only accusation that is concerning to me is he a Fed? And my opinion on Feds in the space, and like to be clear, I don't have any evidence that Nick is a Fed. And my opinion on Feds in the space is that like there are Feds in the space, and we have no idea to know who most of them are. And so I just try to keep moving forwards and let other people do what they're going to do. I think it's really distracting to like turn around and start like looking at our compatriots and trying to like accuse people on hearsay of things.
Right.
So my opinion of Nick is like he's just doing his thing, and I mean he's really fucking good at what he does. He's like way better than me at what he does. And so in a certain way, it's just like game recognized game. It's like nice work.
He's
dude.
very, very unapologetic, unapologetic for what he has to say, and I really do think that
with live streaming,
we need that. Yeah, I think we need more of that. And whether you agree with people or not, I think we need more people to speak unapologetically about how they feel, and on a very public. Because you'll find your people eventually. I'm very unapologetic, and you're very.
That's why you rose so fast, dude. You like I don't actually know your. Like, you know how when we see someone's story, you sort of see the front face of their story, but you don't until you go back and like research their actual content, go back to the beginning and look through all their stuff. You don't really know their whole story. And so I only know your story based on when you appeared in my feed and then how quickly you continue to appear in my feed. And it was meteoric. It was like overnight, I saw your first piece of content and loved it. And then it was just like from then on, you were a constant piece of my feed, which was what I assume people experience with me too.
Yes, that was the general consensus of my comments. And that was the general consensus of my point when I was responding to somebody's comment about it. It's like, I followed you when you were telling me not to buy certain shampoos. I'm like taking notes because I'm like, dang, I read the ingredients of my food, but I never thought for a second to read the ingredients or to look into who owns all of the shampoo. And I thought, I want to go back to that. Because everybody loved you for that.
Yep.
Everybody did. Everybody was bought in. You did. Everybody, the 1, 2, 3 companies that own all the shampoos. The same could be said for the restaurants. I know there's a big expose out there right now in terms of restaurants and like Cisco. Like all your restaurant foods are the same. They come from Cisco. They're all the same. And everybody loved you. Everybody loved this. It was just this
both
massive,
sides too.
Yeah.
There was massive, like the right and left were in my comment sections for the first 6 months fighting over whose side I was on.
Right.
They're like, no, he's a leftist, bro. No, he's a right winger. It's like,
that doesn't even matter anymore.
It was kind of intentional.
Was it?
Yeah, like partially because, I mean, I started my platform to try to be like a GameStop plant in the industry is essentially what I was like imagining myself being. Because I was a GameStop investor that was like, this is bullshit. Why is no one out there telling this story? There's all this like financial corruption that's getting uncovered and no one even knows. And so I was like, okay, I'll start a social media account to talk about it. But then I realized that like, you don't want to start as like a GameStop shill, just talking about all the financial corruption because you'll get pigeonholed into just that. And you'll never actually grow because no one actually knows about GameStop. So and it's not like it was some hardcore thing, but it was sort of like in the back of my mind of that's what I'll do is I'll grow my account and then I'll talk about GameStop whenever more GameStop stuff happens. And that'll be like my fucking contribution.
That'll be yeah.
And so I thought that that's what I was doing. And I was like, and so I started on this very nonpartisan thing because it was the most interesting. It was like the thing to like most basic thing to understand is who owns all this shit. And because I'm kind of middle anyways, I started left and I swung super hard right and I swung back towards the middle. But it kind of evolved because I learned a lot about like telling your truth and being honest and then like audience capture, because that moment, right, of building an audience that has everyone in it, I was like meteoric on TikTok, completely meteoric. Like my second month was like $16,000 of pay on TikTok. But then eventually it's like, well, this is important and I'm going to talk about it and we'll figure it out. My name was Cancel This Clothing Company.
I remember that. I know. That's when I started following you.
I had a lot of like subtle strategy that I don't know if it worked or not, but I think it worked.
I was always confused by that. Did you sell clothes?
That was the point, was to confuse people, because I did sell clothes, but I didn't tell anyone. And the
Starting
point
to
was
sound
just
like a
that it was
CIA
like a
plant.
catchy name that everyone would recognize. It was like easy to remember. Cancel this clothing company, because you're like, what clothing company are we canceling? I'm the clothing
I thought
company
you sold
we're
merch.
canceling. Yeah, exactly. I
thought-
sold merch, but I didn't tell anyone until this journalist named Ernie came after me and tried to like debunk the whole BlackRock conspiracy theory, but he's like totally a shill that was just like a starving artist writer. And then he accused me on TikTok of being a shill grifter that was selling shirts, and all of my followers were like, "Wait a minute, you sell shirts, bro?"
shirts.
And then I made a plug out of him and was like, "Yeah, FYI, guys, I do sell shirts, and you can cancel my clothing company anytime."
Let's talk about that for just a minute here, though. So we're all in the Israel stuff, right? And the automatic argument, and Laura Loomer came at me about it last week.
Yep.
Why don't you just admit that you hate the Jews? Zero context, zero in anywhere of my posts, none of my videos. I've never accused the Jews. I've never even said the Jews. That's their immediate. It's like, just like that guy. Like, do you feel like there's like are they just trying to build a narrative that I hate the Jews just by saying it? Because then all of a sudden everybody was saying it, and I've never once said it. I've got a problem with the Israeli government and what they're doing in Gaza.
Let's push back
and what
on
they
that
do
real
with
quick, Ship.
Yes.
Not everyone was saying it. A whole bunch of bots and a bunch of gullible people were saying it, but not everyone. A lot of it is not real people. I'm sure a lot of it is real people, but it's not all real people, right?
How do you get that many bots? Are they really buying up that big of bots like that? Israel? Are they really all bots?
Not all. I'm not trying to say that they're all bots, but we are definitely past the point where bots are easy to spot. Like the bot farm technology. Let's do a thought experiment, right?
Okay.
Right now it's 2025. In 2022 and 2023, AI was pretty good at like text replies and just like it wasn't good at video. It wasn't good at all these other things, but like the technology to have a reasonably good bot was pretty solid by 2022 to 2023. And so you start to like, then now we have like bot technology that's like 3 years deep. And when you open up a new account, if it's got 3 years of history, like how are you going to know if it's a bot? Right. It's posting things, it's doing stuff. It's like, it's not like you're going to spot it by its language. It's not like you're going to spot it. Like you would need pretty advanced tools to really spot bots at this point, which, you can, but I can't most days.
No.
But you're right. It's like that tactic is so infuriating. And I think that you're right that the point is to build a narrative, but there's another side, and the point is to get you emotional and to get you off balance.
I think we're all too dead inside at this point. It's been so long. Like you started, I started with you. You were pretty small. I was on my 50th account at that point. So I was still pretty small, and we just and we both, for different reasons, got our asses kicked. And I think we're just dead inside now.
A little bit.
I think like you can't hurt my feelings. Your cease and desist, I made into content, which I'm getting paid for. So congratulations for that. You know what I mean? So that brings me to another question I had how do you handle, because you're getting it, like I get my fair share, but you're getting it from like a lot. How do you meditate? Do you take like antidepressants? Probably not.
No, I do not.
How do you handle it?
For a long time, I did need an outlet, and for a while it was running, which I don't make enough time for anymore. And it is a good outlet. Physical exercise that's hard is really great outlet. Anything in like your regular life that just is dope is a great outlet to just remind yourself that real life is real. But at this point, you're right. It's like you get so dead inside to that stuff. It's like I would actually argue like it's not that like I'm dead inside to everything. It's just I'm dead inside. Like I just don't care about criticism. I care not at all about criticism. And part of that is just going through the hoops enough times to realize that actually it's like really beneficial to be criticized. It's like super good for your platform, which is a toxic part of like the way that social media works these days. It's not helpful, but it is how it works.
Right.
So no, I've just been through it enough times that I'm not really worried about it. And I really have, I need zero, like cool down or like reset when I get the big attack, like this big one that just happened yesterday. Zero effect whatsoever. It's actually
it helps. It helps when you ratio every single one.
I don't know how I got into that position, but
God,
Twitter just decided that Ian Carroll was going to be the ratio guy, and now it's like kind of what I do. It's like,
well, to be fair though, that's how you can tell. And I made a video about this too. The way that you can tell that we're winning the narrative or whatever we're winning is by looking at the comments and looking at the ratios. Like They may be getting Utah. We talked about bots, right? And we were going up against these huge accounts. Like, what's her name had 500,000, and I was like, shit. Well, here we go.
Yep.
But like nobody came to her. Like almost nobody came to her defense.
Yeah.
It was
and
all
the
my
other thing
people.
too is to look for the face accounts that come to people's defense, like the actual video creators that weigh in on things. I don't really put any weight to the faceless, like nameless text accounts on X. It's meaningless. But the faced accounts are like real people, and I might disagree with them, but they're still a real person with an opinion, even if it's paid for. And I don't think most of it is paid for. I think most of it is real opinions.
Do you think so? I cannot fathom for the life of me how you can build a platform on being America first.
Right.
And then
I think that both of us as regular old Americans that just like started.
Is that what it is?
From nothing. It's hard to even imagine what it would be like to be one of those people.
How can you sleep at night?
I don't know, dude. I mean, but then again, there's like people that literally lie to their spouse's faces, or like there's people that are cheating on their spouse and lying to their face and sleeping in bed next to them. And I don't fucking understand how people do that either. So, the world is full of fucked up people that, do. Would you rather if I don't curse on your show?
No, you can. Oh my God, we have a whole jar for it. Every time somebody pays me like one of these Rumble rants, we put it in the swear jar.
Legit.
I'll put these out. I'm sorry, I completely forgot, guys. You can swear all you want.
know
I was
how they
trying not
look
to swear
themselves,
because I wasn't sure where you stood on the swearing, but fuck
Dude,
that.
no,
Okay.
I have zero filter.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Let's switch gears there, and let's kind of dive into where you're getting the most recent hate, and that has to do with Charlie Kirk.
Yep.
So talk to me about your mental process with Charlie Kirk. Like, where are you at, and how did you start, and what was the first big, other than the actual event, which I think most of us were like, bro, that's not what happened. Like, what was your first inkling that something was wrong? $25, Texas Jules. Thank you so much, and thank you for bringing Eon on. I adore you both. She loves you. So
appreciate
swear
it.
jar. Fuck
Thanks,
it all.
chat. I mean, for me, it was pretty immediate. I have been through enough of these by now to know that like taking your time and being patient is a good move. But I also am the kind of person that likes to break rules. And so it was like right on day one in the first hours, as soon as George Zinn's footage came out, my hackles were up.
Talk to me about George Zinn. Let's run through that really fast.
George Zinn is the Ashkenazi Jewish man that like shouted in the crowd, came and like literally pretended like he had shot Charlie Kirk and tried to get arrested and made a big scene. His pants fell down. There's videos of him getting carried off, and the FBI announces that they got the shooter. And right away, just from the shit that he's yelling in that video that came out, it's like, that's fucking not right. That is super sketchy. Nothing about that tracks. And it's like not the kind of shot that I would have expected to be in the crowd. So that didn't really align with my initial take on the shooting either. And so right away, it's like, there's accomplices. And the moment there's accomplices and like they happen to be Jewish, my mind isn't immediately going to Israel, but it's going to intelligence agencies.
Okay. That's kind of where I went.
Right. And just like, I'm in a certain way, I've kind of, I'm a generalist. I'm certainly not an expert at anything, but if you were to call me an expert at anything based upon my platform, I'm an expert in like deep state intelligence agency and organized crime covert operations. That's like what I spend the most time researching, talking about, getting into the history of. And when you look at the history of like high profile political assassinations in the United States of America, how many were ever conducted by lone nuts versus how many were actually conducted by intelligence agencies and organized crime working in cahoots that tried to pin it on lone nuts, right? I mean, the answer is a bit up in the air because some of them are still debated.
Like JFK.
Exactly. And MLK and RFK.
Right? All the Ks.
Yeah, right.
Is that weird? I feel like I thought about that the other day.
That whole era was super
all the abbreviation of the assassinations.
Yeah.
Because then Charlie's that's just weird. Okay, moving on. Sorry, go ahead.
So as soon as it happened, like the way that I've looked at it from the start is Charlie Kirk is so big that when Charlie Kirk gets shot, like when my friend told me, look, open to it, Twitter, Charlie Kirk just got shot, which already wasn't really registering because it's like he's one of us. Like I know that I was very adversarial to him and not kind to him in life, which I kind of regret because like he was actually saying some pretty, like he's a very smart guy and he was saying some very cogent things and there was way more depth there than I acknowledged while he was alive. But the moment that I was told that he was shot, the first thought was that this is more than 50% chance that it's some sort of bigger thing than just a lone nut. Like, certainly possible. Certainly lots of lone nuts hate Charlie Kirk, just like lots of lone nuts hate me, or like, well, not just like, but this is the kind of thing that's already on the table. And so then when George Zinn happens, that gets my hackles up. And then when the footage starts coming out, it's like, this is weird, dude. What is going on? And so that's why the next morning I, did a wrong think and just threw a little propaganda down, so to speak, because everyone was thinking it. Like, I purposely did not weigh in on it on the day of. I don't think I posted a single thing about it on the day of, except for maybe like praying for Charlie or something. But by the next morning, it was like, well, the whole internet is talking about Israel already, and I haven't contributed to that at all. And they're not wrong for looking in that direction based on what I was seeing. So I was like, fuck it. I'll be the one that, like, because I was not talking to Candace. I wasn't involved. I wasn't his friend. I was like way on the outside. So I was like, I don't know what they're all going to do, but I am happy to be this conspiracy theorist that goes out on a limb and says what everyone's thinking, and to sort of play that role right now, because it's not factually off my basis at all. And I did have some moments that first day or two with that tweet that I was like, that might have been a little over I should have worded it differently, maybe, I thought for a second. But ultimately, like, the more it came out, the more that like it's played out, the more I'm like, no, I feel very good about that tweet.
Nobody believes it was that kid. I don't even think I believe
that's not
that
true.
Is
the thing. The crazy fucking thing is that a bunch of these mainstream commentators,
they don't believe that. I'm so sorry. Like, and like, I'm mutuals with like a couple, Benny Johnson. Like, I like to get my normie news from people that entertain me. Benny Johnson.
Yep.
And
yeah, he's great at that.
I don't think he follows me. I'm like, there's no way. Like, why haven't you unfollowed and blocked me?
Have you seen how many times Jack Posobiec has tweeted? I saw exactly the words. I saw a leftist murder Charlie Kirk, and I saw them celebrate it.
Yeah, I saw them all post it. But I've had him muted since Binergate. Yeah, maybe even before then.
Pretty much.
I realized that I had a lot of these people either blocked or muted already when it started coming out. And I was like, I wonder why I did that. It must have been something, but this must have been it. But I had no idea. The Charlie Kirk stuff just brought out the wrath. And then when you start talking about Erica, because I dabbled in that. Because that's
I've kind of avoided that one.
Yeah,
it's fraught. It's complicated.
There's a
lot there, but it's like, I don't know, man.
Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Is it worth getting into? You know what I mean? But it's weird, and it's okay. Be able to
prove anything, even if that was the case. Like,
it's different. So we got what have you? Well, actually, I want to go back. I want to go back to the Candace Owens stuff. So immediately, people, there's a divide that's happening. There's a separation that's happening. There's a separation that's happening from the mega, which is all of these, your Loomers, all of these people. And then like the OG and Make America Great people. And I feel like that split needed to happen because I didn't see a lot of this.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't realize that there were I knew like Benny Johnson. Like, I know you're getting intel. I know you're getting paid. You're bringing these center. I know you are. Like, I knew about all of them. Even Jack posted. But like a lot, there were some of these that I was just blown away. I was like, what do you mean? Ted Cruz going on Tucker Carlson, and he's like, look, I became a senator strictly for the reason to be the best senator for Israel. The way my mouth hit the floor that he said that out loud during a time when the border crisis was still a thing in Texas, people were fighting for their lives. Oh boy, just out here, just getting in there. Yeah.
No shame.
But why? Like, why is this so blatant all of a sudden? Have you given any of that thought? Like, because Ukraine, like, we fought COVID, and then before then, like, we're all just baking cookies, living life, like whatever. Why is it?
Well,
why is Israel now?
It's not really that it's all of a sudden, as much of it's been put under immense pressure all at once, and pressure changes the way that people have to act. It changes the way that people have to speak. It changes tactics. It's like watching a sports team hang out together off the court and then watching them in the middle of like the game that's going to decide the fate of their whole season or something like that, where it's like suddenly they're springing into action and they don't like they're in a whole different game plan. Because it was going on all along. It's like Turning Point USA is a prime example. It's like it was built by Jewish donors that picked Charlie Kirk as like the front guy of it, kind of. And it's not just Jewish donors, but a lot of them were. But like Charlie Kirk was the face, he was the builder, he was the vision, but he wasn't the money and he wasn't the structure. And the whole organization was built into this complex financial web of nonprofits that were doing kind of shady shit with a whole bunch of money from donors that was very much aligned to this narrative. And so it's like we just didn't notice because it was happening silently and there wasn't this like overt genocide and realistically there wasn't X where people were openly calling it out in one of the main public debate, like public forums. And so when Elon bought X and opened that up in a similar timeline to October 7th happening, it was like this trifecta of free speech opening back up in a new way where we didn't even realize that you weren't allowed to like talk about this thing because everyone that talked about it was jettisoned from society. Like Nick Fuentes, Ryan Dawson is a great example of one. But then people start talking about it and there's this huge thing happening and it's wide open and there's no one getting banned for it, at least mostly not. And that just changed the whole game. But it's not that it wasn't happening before. And so then once people are talking about it, then it's like the propaganda wheels have to like churn into fast motion and fight back. And that's where you get the really obvious shit, because that's where you like.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
The Zionist narrative has always relied on deception, lies, mistruths, like slander, distractions. And so once it's happening live and it's happening with someone that like you've seen be a normal person on the internet that doesn't hate Jews, that doesn't hate people. And they're just like, they make a comment about Israel and suddenly like all of Israel loses their minds and thinks they're like the worst anti-Semite on the planet. It just starts to get so much more brazen. And I don't think that things like governments and intelligence agency like divisions are very good at like agile movement in the information space and like rapidly changing strategies and adapting to new environments the way that an individual might be. And so there's been a long learning curve, I think, for Zionist propaganda outlets to sort of figure out what actually works, because not a lot does when there's free speech. That's the problem.
No, and this definitely did not work because, and I've said this about 1,000 freaking times. Every time somebody says, "Oh, you're Team Canada, you're on Candace Owen, Tucker Carlson, Qatar," every single time, it's like, no. I can listen. They can help me. They have the resources and know the sources and help me to put things together maybe a little bit better. But I'm like, why did they tear the stage down in 24 hours and cement over it? Why was that? Why was the company that cemented over it the father of I don't even remember, Charlie Kirk? Like, why is Netanyahu addressing my country? Not one, not two, not three, but 4 different times in 2 weeks. More times than Trump's addressed the country since he's been in office, talking about how he had nothing to do with Charlie Kirk's death. Why is he having to do that? Why is it? Why do we have video of influencers meeting with the prime minister of a foreign nation, talking about how they're going to propagandize the American people and get paid for it? And then that video is just put out, here, we're going to use the money that you sent us in order to help us our war, but we're going to use it to propagandize you further. I think that is one of the more audacious and genius things that they've done this year in kind of a roundabout way. Yeah. Okay.
Because to us, to people that are like, because you would never think that putting that out there is a good idea. And for the longest time, Israel had those conversations secretly. And there was a few that got leaked by like big Israeli leaders that like it would get leaked and be a big deal. But it was like very hush hush that was happening. But I almost, and I've not really thought this through before until you just said that. But like now that I'm thinking it through, because when we see it, we're like, the fuck? Why would you say that?
What the fuck just happened? Yeah.
But when you notice, when people that are pro-Israel see it, it almost seems to have a normalizing effect. Right. And if you put out the absurd as though it was normal, there's this effect where if you network it where everyone's acting like it's normal, and it's like, for example, the biggest elephant in the room, God's chosen people. If you are God's chosen people, that's a supremacist ideology. What's the difference between God's chosen people and Nazis? Like, what's the difference between God's chosen people and the Aryan race? Like, maybe which DNA you're talking about, but either way, it's a supremacist ideology that says my genetics are superior and you're all subhuman, right?
That's exactly how they act, though.
Well, they say it openly, and it's been normalized because it's been said so many times, and like you just, like, no big deal. And so when I think that there's a certain element, someone I think kind of realized that, like, we need to stop trying to propagandize the people that already hate us, and we need to start propagandizing just the people that are already on our team, and just normalizing all this shit, because then it has this effect of being like, so what? Like, it's not a big deal. Like, oh no, like, you're paid by Qatar. Who cares if they're paid by Israel? Which is a way more effective strategy today than trying to pretend that AIPAC doesn't exist, right? Because for the longest time, it was just don't talk about AIPAC. But now everyone knows.
Do you think that, man, I don't see that working. Like, this has been weeks.
Oh, it's not going to work. No.
Yeah, this has been weeks and weeks and weeks going on. And these people can't move. The Ian Chongs, y'all can't move with your posts. You cannot get a leg up. Yep. And that's why I asked you about the bots, because I'm like, I know if there's Israel bots, but then are there, like, is there other bots? I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally. I mean, there's bot farms like on just an industrial scale in every direction. And I don't really know how the industry works, but I have met people that I know use them. And really? I've gotten a little bit of insight about how, because for example, I'm going to just kind of talk about unnamed podcasters and influencers. I've met a few that clearly I know have used bots on their rise. And in a commercial sense, like, who knows if that was like aligned? I doubt it was aligned to a nation. I have no idea, but I assume it was just like they hunted down a service and paid for a certain amount of bot traffic. And so there is like an industry around it that's not nation state aligned and is not political or nefarious in that regard. It's just fucking weak.
But why? Why would you do that?
Well, right. So, for example, there's one person that I'm thinking of that I'm not going to give any clues about her name. I don't need to start personal drama, but there is one person that I pretty much know used bots that like they did grow a giant platform, or at least an apparently big platform that did go from like 0 to now you have a job doing this that no one really thinks about. That bots were a big part of that. Their content is still good, and they work hard. They're super good at their job. So it's not like they didn't deserve to have the job, but they
to get them started
on it. Yeah. And I don't know that, but I know it. And I'm sure that happens, somewhat frequently, but at the same time, it's like, that's kind of weak, but it's also not nearly as nefarious as like literally the IDF running bot farms, and
they've got it, and they've got to be. Or Ukraine, somebody said in the comments to Ukraine, and because I remember I came out about the Ukraine war, same thing. And the amount of people that came for me, and their big thing was, if Ukraine loses the war, Russia's coming for us next. Well, here we fucking are in 2025, and Russia ain't knocking down my door.
They have no interest in doing that. And it's what it is when you touch a golden goose. And it's not just Israel's golden gooses. It's also like, there are also golden gooses for sort of the, like, you could say American empire, but it's kind of the international banking cartel. It's kind of the warmongers, neocons, the global, whatever you want to call them, whatever the
Lindsey Grahams
is. Exactly. It's not just the Jews, right? There are other factions out here that will try to control you, censor your speech, send fucking, the forces after you. It's all a giant mess.
It is. Do you think, what do you see do you think it's going to get better? Do you think this is some
No, I think we're about to get way worse. I think we're about to see Israeli censorship times 1,000,000.
Well, I'm already seeing it on TikTok.
Exactly. I think we're getting banned. I think that people are getting kicked off of YouTube soon. I think that they're going to try to pressure Elon to cancel people on X.
And I made a video about that. If we lose X, we're fucked.
We are in big trouble, but
we are in big trouble because we can't TikTok. I mean, I've gone back and forth with TikTok when the Chinese owned it or whatever, when they used to ban like your full VPN. I've gone back and forth, but I could get a video out and it could get 100,000 views and be downloaded multiple times before they would take it down. But now, like, I have a video that's sitting there. My video about responding to one of the comments about your thing, that sat there for 2 hours at 0 views because it had your name in the caption.
Interesting.
I'm like, well, I'll just delete it.
I'm pretty much gone off TikTok at this point.
Yeah,
I don't post there much.
I don't either. I don't. Yeah, that sucks because, well, like, that's how a lot of us got started, and it is a good app. But if I can't,
it's a wonderful gateway. It
got us where we are, and we're very thankful for that. Maybe it's the friends we made along the way after all.
Bingo.
I guess. But
Yep.
if we lose X, I don't.
I think
'cause
that's a Streisand effect, honestly.
that
Like,
could be bad.
I think that there's no amount of censorship that can win the battle at this point.
You don't think so?
No, because all the young people are wise to that shit, and all the older, everyone over 30 is the only people that might work on. But the people over 30 are pretty much already split where they're going to be. And I think that very few people over 30 are actually changing their mind. And when they are, it's not because honestly, I think that more often than not, people don't change their minds because like I say something that like changes their mind, or like Candace says something that changes their mind. I think more often than not, they change their mind because I say something or Candace says something, and then the reaction is so insane that it's like, wait, what? Or, it's when it's like something breaks the frame of reference, and things like buying TikTok, banning people on X, like shutting down the conversation is way stronger of a signal that something's wrong here than me speaking. Because when I'm speaking, it's really easy to just be like, oh, Ian is just a hammer looking for a nail. And in a certain way, that's not totally wrong. It's like, that's a fair criticism. And it's like the best tactic you can lay against me, and against most of the points unless I'm like actually wrong, which does happen.
Yeah.
But censoring me does not achieve that. Like censoring me make me look very right.
Right.
So I'm really not like, it would suck. It would, I would get a lot more free time and have a lot less
yeah, I've always kind of had that mentality, like you have to keep it. Like, and that's, I think I'm glad I got banned from TikTok so many times, because I have this mentality and I have to keep it, that if this goes away tomorrow, I'm
bingo.
Like, I'm just gonna have to, and that's why your
mindset.
Yeah, your cease and desist doesn't matter. Your threats of a lawsuit, your comments, like none of that matters, because if it gets to be to a point where I just don't want to do this anymore, I'll dip.
Bingo.
My family's life doesn't hang on this. It does hang on my husband's job though. So let's just be careful with that. Yep. But the rest, I mean, and you have to kind of keep that mentality.
It's such important humility. And honestly, I think that's why you've done so well, because it comes through in everything you say, not just, and I mean specifically you, because it's not just that you speak authentically, it's that you speak authentically without humility. Authenticity feels awkward. It feels gross. It feels super condescending, right? But with humility, authenticity feels genuine, and it feels like inviting. And you see a lot of people, I think more men than women in some, that's not true. I think it's both of us, that hit a bunch of success and feel famous. And especially if you're younger, if you're like in your 20s when it hits and you're like, whoa, cool. It's really easy. You see a lot of these kind of like younger people coming up that sort of get sucked into how cool they suddenly are, and it becomes their whole identity and they can't let it go. And it's like so important to remember that you are just a regular old person, just like everybody else. And if it all went away tomorrow, you'd be the exact same regular person. Like nothing would change about you.
Because it will. And I guess there's a bunch of TikTokers that are realizing that right now. There's a bunch of kids that came up and they were making, $150,000 a month doing TikToks with brand deals and stuff like that. And then it just crashed. And now they're broke. And I'm like, bro, you got to invest that money into something. Like, some of
the best advice I ever got was from JK Ultra, she does like a bunch of like alien conspiracy stuff and spirituality stuff. She's super cool. And she reached out to me at one point and said, and it was like when I was really big on TikTok, but I hadn't gone to X or anything else yet. And she said, you need to diversify. Don't get trapped in TikTok. Don't get trapped in this like back and forth drama with other TikTokers. You're way bigger than this. Think bigger, build bigger. And it was the exact breath of fresh air I needed at the exact right time to be like, oh yeah, like zoom out. I'm like fighting with Hank Green over sunscreen on TikTok. And I'm thinking like, oh no, my career is over. Hank Green is fighting with me. And it's like, oh yeah, the internet is huge. And like, I'll just do my thing.
Yeah. And that's because we all got trapped in that trap on TikTok too. And I think just with the censorship in general, like it became, because I migrated to Instagram. Instagram wasn't much better, but I had one in case we needed to fall back. And I've been through so many apps. You've probably been through a ton of apps. Like I just can't.
I've been through very few actually. So the most suspicious thing about me that I'm kind of suspicious of myself for is I've not been banned on anything. I've never been banned officially for real.
That's
once.
Wild.
Like I did a very careful job of walking the line on TikTok, and I walked up to 2 strikes a bunch of times and like waited and let it cool down. And I did have my backup account banned. But other than that, I've not been. I jumped into X after it was open. I jumped into YouTube like minorly before Trump, but then I purposely waited until Trump got into office before I really started going hard in it.
Okay.
And I somehow walked this line where I did TikTok while it was good, left, went to X while it was good, left, went to YouTube, and it's pretty good right now. And I've not been banned on anything yet, which is kind of weird. I don't know.
Say, I mean, yes, I know
what.
That's good. I mean, the TikTok stuff, I couldn't like wait and cool off. my ego took a drive, and
often what I was doing once I diversified is I would make the TikTok in TikTok at that point, and I would
then post it too,
delete it, and then I would go and post it on Instagram and X, and just not post on TikTok and be like, "Fuck you guys."
I've done that a lot. I've done that a lot lately, just because of TikToks, and especially with TikTok's more recent purchase. Again, and I did notice a shift, and I'm not a big owners of TikTok or they're censored. I was a big fan of not a fan, but I believed that the left, you could get mass reporting go down pretty quick.
Yep.
But this is like a whole different. Like my videos just sit. I'm like, bro, and anything to do with Israel, anything to do with you, anything to do with Candace Owens. I have one that's doing like 14,000 views. I think it hit 50, 60, 70 or something on X. And that's one about Candace. I lost 2 on Candace. I lost 1 on Tucker. And that was right after that acquisition. And I was like, bro.
Awkward. So the acquisition went through, and the very next day I logged in and looked, and my most recent video had been taken down. And I was like, cool,
I'm like, come on. Like, we fought the left. We fought the Chinese. I fought Joe Biden. Now it's Peter Thiel, right? Is that who it is?
No, it's Ellison.
What's his name?
So Ellison is behind.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Fuck that guy too.
He's actually not he's not behind TikTok actually. This is funny because I'm actually blanking.
He's on the board, isn't he? Like a big guy.
So the initial TikTok thing was Project Texas, which gave control of everything to Oracle. Essentially, they were overseeing the algorithm, and they were.
But that happened a long time ago. That happened before Trump.
Yes, exactly. Now, yes, it is Oracle, Silver Lake, and Andreessen Horowitz.
Okay.
Which is
fuck those guys too. Give me my videos back.
Big time. Yeah. Fuck Larry Ellison.
Yeah. And somebody said that he's Jewish. I looked into him a little bit. He is Jewish, but he's a reformed.
Though.
He's a reformed Jew. Like his parents wouldn't. But then he doesn't participate in the Jewish culture, and he never had like a bar mitzvah. He did a whole interview on it. I was like, well, maybe it won't.
Biggest fucking funder of the IDF ever.
I know.
So it's like almost.
I was like, maybe it
awkward.
won't be that bad, and then it was that bad.
No. I mean, all you have to do is look up what Larry Ellison said after 9/11 to realize this dude is like. It's like way beyond Jewish conspiracies. It's like this dude is just straight up an evil supervillain of the Illuminati. And there's really no way around it.
Here we are fighting the Chinese. Can I bring something else up? Just because you're kind of. So here's the deal. So for years and years, they had us like afraid of the Chinese and afraid of the Russians, and that's all and that's the argument I'm getting now. Still in my comments, whenever I talk about Israel, it's like, why aren't you focused on the Chinese? I'm like, what? They're sending me shit through Amazon. Like, what do you want me to focus on? If it's that bad, we shouldn't be allowing them to come here to go to school. If it's that bad, 90% of the stuff I order from Amazon shouldn't be coming from China. So why are you so worried about China coming in here and infiltrating when we're letting them in the first place? I mean, we had what's his name? The senator, his wife, his wife's sister was a full-fledged member of the CCP. Okay, CCP, like card-carrying member, drove her Tesla backwards into a shallow pond and then drowned. Right? I can't. Mitch McConnell thing. Yeah, it was awkward. We got senators just fucking spies. I mean, what do you want me? Do you think that that's all? That has been just propaganda to keep us afraid of these other countries, and if so, why?
No, I don't think it's all propaganda. I think that, like most propaganda campaigns, it's propaganda sitting on top of a piece of truth that is important, because that's how you build good propaganda, is you build it on top of truth, right? And China is a really good one to analyze in this way, because they're not like, when you actually analyze, I mean, I would be totally open to being convinced otherwise, because I'm not some fucking expert on China, but their strategy does not appear to me to be like trying to take down America or like control America. Their strategy seems to be to just outcompete America on the modern playing field in the, capitalist, globalized world that we have today, with things like the Belt and Road Initiative and things like all of their like investments in Africa. They really have just like looked at what America did so well with the CIA and sort of like all these weird development projects that give them kind of like control over other countries and trade deals and stuff. And they've kind of just replicated a shitload of it, along with a lot of playing dirty and a lot of efficiency that communism, like semi-communism that they kind of have, sort of does a really good job at. That being said, they also have like a fucking giant real estate bubble built on tofu cities. That's this whole other rabbit hole to dig into. But so it's not like China is not a threat. They're this like subtle capitalist kind of threat that's like will beat us at our own game in a certain way if things keep going the way that they're going, maybe. Although I have questions about that. I don't really think they're going to beat us at our own game until they figure out their fucking real estate problem.
Yeah.
But
they have way too many people.
But they're not like trying to invade us. They're not trying to blackmail our presidents with sexual blackmail rings. They're not trying to like do all these other things. I'm not getting speech laws passed to censor my speech on behalf of China. They're just stealing our military technology through a bunch of hacking, basically, and buying up all our farmland. And they are contributing to the fentanyl crisis probably in a pretty significant way, which is like pretty rough fuck around and find out for the opium wars in a certain kind of like abstract Western versus Eastern way.
Right.
But so it's like, I'm not a fan of China by any means in this like bigger governmental way. But it's like my bottom line has always been, whether it's Iran or China or Russia, it's like, is my free speech being restricted on their behalf? Like, am I being attacked, persecuted? Is my income being restricted? Is my ability to work, my ability to boycott and spend money on what I want to do? Are those things being restricted on behalf of those other countries? No. And so until that happens, I'm more worried about the country doing that, because I currently have to wake up every single day and try to not become anti-Semitic, because
I know
the action of like global Jewry towards me is so reprehensible that it's like so easy to want to hate this whole people, which is not the case. It's like not all people. It's not the whole thing, the whole group. But it's like I have to try not to do that because of the way that my life is being impacted by this other nation. Whereas with like Russia and China, that's like not even ever in my entire life been even at the slightest thought of that being the problem. And like with Russia, for example, it's like, as far as I can tell, Putin is just trying to fucking protect his own people and move towards a multipolar world. Sure, ex-KGB. Sure, I don't want like Russian laws. I don't want to live in Russia. I would rather live here where I can criticize my government mostly. But like I like trying to in the modern day and age, trying to pin Russia was such an empty propaganda campaign that it was kind of hilarious the whole time, which is why the Ukraine war became so unpopular and so ridiculous, especially like you were saying, when the Ukraine war is this thing that's been going on for a while. We've gotten the propaganda shoved down our throats. And then the Israel thing starts up with October 7th. And immediately the narrative is completely opposite flipped on the right wing of like, first it's no more foreign aid. This nation's all corrupt.
Yeah,
it's all Nazis.
It just flipped.
Right. And then boom, we need to send all the foreign aid to this other country committing a genocide. No big deal. Don't ask any questions. It's like,
God, the whiplash was insane. Was insane.
Tucker did a great job of elucidating that. I think it was with Jeffrey Sachs. I forget. He did a couple of interviews at the time that were like really excellent at elucidating this like flip of like, hello.
Okay, so let's talk about the Tucker Candace stuff. So where do you feel like they're legitimately? This is legitimately, I think Candace with the Charlie Kirk stuff, I think that might be pretty legit. She seems pretty fired up. But do you feel like they're playing a part in this to try to add
it's a good question. It's
to
a really
the
deep
anti-Israel people? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I don't need Charlie and Candace to be pissed off of what Israel's doing. Like, they're pissing me off just by talking. I don't need them to tell me to be pissed off of you. I'm just pissed off of you because you won't stop.
Yeah.
But do you think that they're also playing a part in this? And then if it is, like, what part is that? What side is this?
So I can speak much more effectively to Candace's role than to Tucker's. And obviously I do not speak for Candace, but I know her and her team quite well at this point. And she has been, from the moment I met her, from the moment I interacted with her content, to the moment I met her and her family, to the moment that I worked out of their house every day for, 2 months earlier this year. She's as real gets. That's just who she is. She is exactly the same off camera as she is on camera. The first time I ever met her in person, there was no like, hi, small talk. It was immediately sit down and like, we're in a conspiracy theory talking about like, dude, did you see what just happened? This is crazy. Look at this. So here's my theory. I think, and it's like that's just her honest truth. And there's with Candace, it's not an agenda. It's not like some weird game. She understands the social media landscape. She understands that this is a form of warfare, and she understands that she is in a role regardless of where she falls on the playing field, so to speak. But it's not like she's chosen her placement because of some bigger agenda at all. It's just that's what she sees as true. And if she were to see evidence tomorrow that would make her think something else is true, she would follow that. That's 100% who she is. And everything I know about Tucker says that he's exactly the same way in his own way, as in like his own moral compass and his own truth. As a Christian, as far as I can tell, that's who he is. I think I have a lot more theories and questions about his past involvement with intelligence agencies and the American government and deep state, which is super interesting to analyze that I'm just spitballing on. But I think that Tucker is very strategic, and I admire him a lot for that, because, you know, the thing about this game, this social media thing, is that even when you are a regular American citizen that's just a regular person, you're still on a battlefield playing a role regardless of where you stand. Like there's no innocent people in this space. We're all taking part. And so you can be ignorant to that, or you can be aware of it. And some people are more aware of it than others, and some people are more financially or otherwise incentivized to be in certain places than others. With Tucker, I don't know. I would be very open to the idea that he has, you know, more knowledge and bigger perspective, and is sort of like playing more of a role, so to speak. Not as in he feels like I don't think he's being dishonest, but I think that he understands that game in a way that Candace just never would care to even like learn about, because she's like, fuck that, Jesus Christ. Right? Like that's her only guiding principle is like Jesus Christ and my family. That's all she is. Right. So I get super curious about the whole thing, and I purposefully have held my tongue and not asked Candace what's going on or any of that. I've actually purposely, I've talked to Tucker a few times, and I've purposely not reached out to him a lot, because I want to not, like, as soon as this Charlie Kirk tragedy happened, it was very apparent that there was sort of groups forming based on previous relationships, as in there were the people that knew him well, and they just are in a different position than someone like me, who did not know him at all and was actually adversarial to him. So I inherently was already in a different position, and there was no point in trying to move and like get in with them and like make myself seem closer or more important to the story than I was. I'm an outsider. Right. And I kind of like that, because I'm just trying to be me. I'm not trying to be in Candace's orbit. I'm not trying to be in Tucker's orbit. I'm not trying to do any of that. There's things I disagree with both of them on. So I don't know. Yeah. I'm very curious to the real truth, the capital T truth of what's really going on behind the scenes here. But ultimately, I think that we'll never know the whole story. I don't know if we'll ever even know who really shot him, honestly.
I don't think. Well, maybe we will in like 60 years when the new Congress.
Although I'd be curious at this point, Chip, what is your like most likely? Like, what's your most likely idea about where the shot might have come from, and like who that might have been, or what kind of like what might have actually happened in your mind? Which is obviously a very impossible question.
Yeah, I kind of hesitate to say, because it just seemed really. I've got two. I mean, I've got the one that everybody kind of runs with. That, you know, there's a lot of talk about the shot in the mic that it came out of the mic. There's a lot of talk about that. That seems pretty plausible. There's a lot of talk about the guy on the roof. How are you going to jump down without a gun? He didn't have a gun. We don't have video footage of the shot, but you had. That doesn't make any sense. Cash Patel, his weird shit. Even now today, he came out and he's like, we're not going to.
Dude, yeah, that was awkward.
Like, these ain't conspiracy theories. Like, we all got eyes. We all got ears. Something's wrong. You're lying. We all know you're lying. We just can't prove it. I think that it's either this was an inside-ish job that was pushed by a certain country because of Charlie's stance, and you can't deny it. And anybody that tries to has just got their head in the sand. He from October 7th on,
the receipts have been unreal.
He's been hammering down on it, and that's the only reason he was even on my radar, because I was also hammering down. A lot of us were, a handful of us, not a lot, a handful of us. So, and it was getting, you know, and then Candace comes with her texts, and then, you know, there's more to this than what they're telling me. So there's that whole narrative. Israel done it allegedly. Getting another season. And then there's another one that the left actually talked about, which I thought was quite interesting. I'm very open-minded, so I'm here for it. And theirs was that the conservative right needed a martyr because they wanted to bring in Christian nationalism.
Yep.
I don't believe that Charlie Kirk wasn't much on Christian nationalism. He was just,
But
maybe
once
a
you
little.
watch that memorial for him,
Well, so there was that, right? So that's their ideology.
regardless of what Charlie wanted.
I know that. Well, and that, okay. So that was weird.
Yeah.
It was weird. I'm fucking sorry, but it was fucking weird. It was like watching the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah.
How you throw that together in 7 days? Not even 7 days, right? It doesn't matter. So there's a theory that they think it's all fake, that it was hologram. And they did it in order to create a martyr to bring everybody back to Christian nationalism. I don't agree with Christian nationalism, but what I will tell you is just seeing, like I saw a report today, the jump in Bible sales, the jump in Christianity, the jump in going back to church. We were in our country which was founded in Christian beliefs, was very much in danger of losing that either to like the Muslim Brotherhood, the Muslims that are coming in, or the Jewish people who don't believe in Jesus Christ, right? We were very close. Like Tucker, I watched one episode of Tucker. He said that at one point in time back in like, I don't know, the 90s, our country was like 80% white Christian men. And now it's like 35 or 40 white Christian men. And I thought, oh, Jesus, is it that? Because I live in this small town. So it does. There could be a thought. And again, this is all alleged. This is all just speculation, but that it was set up this way to make Charlie a martyr to bring people back to Christianity, or that he offered him, because Jesus Christ also offered himself up to be a martyr because he could have been saved by the archangels. And he said, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do, or whatever. I'm getting there. That quote, I bought a Bible. It brings people, but it's bringing people back to that Christian core belief.
And I think there's an element where, like, even if you don't want the whole Christian thing, we all kind of realize that our country needs more morals. We need a stronger moral compass in our country.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's gone way too far.
Agreed.
Right.
And with that, I'm sorry, my guy, we're at the top of our hour. I could literally sit here and talk all night,
we could go
but
for hours and hours.
We could. Maybe another time we can bring you on and go for hours and hours for sure. Really quick before I let you guys go, though, we got some Rumble rants. Let's see. So we got that Rumble. Did you see Paramount Plus popped a show about October 7th? No? Did you see that?
No. Oh, yes, I do know about that. And I've been curious. We all know what it's going to be.
We do. Kind of like the 9/11, kind of, you know what? Just add it to the stack.
Atrocity
at this point.
propaganda.
JFK. Oh, did you know that we're going to finally find out about Amelia Earhart too? Because fuck Charlie Kirk on Amelia Earhart. Let's do it.
And everyone was wondering what really happened with Amelia Earhart.
Nobody's talking about that, Luna.
Right?
Nobody.
How many people under 30 do you think even know who Amelia Earhart is?
Congress makes me so damn mad. I can speak a little bit. Almost all of them, 99% of them make me so mad with their sorry. Okay, Dark and Lovely. We're Hi Shipwreck. Were you a teacher like Ian in your prior life podcasting? Were you a teacher?
Yeah.
No, you weren't. Who did you teach?
I was raised by two teacher educators. Yeah. So I have a weird story where I'm a high school dropout, but I started teaching at age 14 as a volunteer. I graduated, I left middle school and came back to teach the improv theater club that I had helped start. Okay. And then that grew into more jobs, which grew into more jobs. And so by the time I dropped out of high school, I was already an assistant teacher and doing these other jobs and shit. And then I just I was raised by two teacher educators that worked at universities to teach teachers. And so my daycare growing up was going to their classes. And so I just hopped between jobs on recommendations from parents at weird private schools and just did a whole bunch of weird teaching jobs through age 26 or something like that. All sorts of wild stuff. Yeah.
I did not know that. Look at that.
We huge role in why and how I do what I do now. It was that's all the skill sets that I bring to this table is improv.
Is this all you do? This social media stuff, is this all you do now?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, it's 100%. It's been full time ever since week 2 on TikTok. Literally my second week, I was driving Uber Eats and working as an outdoor guide, and I stopped driving Uber Eats that second week and this is because I just already my payment was accruing way faster than an Uber Eats could ever add up. So.
And TikTok never got that lucrative. I mean, it got lucrative enough. It got to a point to where it made sense to keep trying to do it, right? My ex pays out.
Plus, it's important to note that I have no kids. I have no family to I have my siblings and parents' family, which thankfully now I can help support, which is really refreshing and
nice.
And nice in the heart. But because I had no one to support and I like grew up as a dirtbag with no money, it was like, oh no, I'll be broke again if I fail.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, and that's a really good. That's also a really good mentality for you to just keep too, because if, like you said, this could just go away, and then it's going to be up to our kids to try and get it fixed. Like, because we're just. You're right. So good. I didn't. Dark and Lovely. I didn't know that. We're learning stuff.
Yeah,
so many of the creators. Yeah, Chad. No, they're going nuts. So many of the creators I enjoy are linking up. I love it. I do what I can as a small TikTok account, but I appreciate y'all speaking up about these things. That's from Kay.
Small accounts matter.
They do matter. And we love you guys. We do. We love you. Texas Jules, she's just talking to somebody. I don't know. She said she was writing the same thing. And then great idea bringing Ian on. I adore you both. Oh, yeah, we did that one. I don't give a fuck about that. Yeah, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. And Ian,
I
my
bet
guy.
that you have the best chat, Ship. I would imagine
They're
that you draw
pretty.
the coolest
They're
people.
great. Your base is too, because your base came over.
It's similar. I think it's just the base of like an honest speaker that is just a regular person that is just, doing human things. I think you inherently draw cool, open-minded people.
Yeah. No, I think that, no, they're great. And it's so weird because like we talked about this, like we don't have a lot of family. Like most of our family's gone, but I have a brother and sister and Samantha, and none of them follow me, that I know of. If they do, it's not for good reasons, right? But I've got people, that'll just randomly DM me. They'll be like, "Here, Merry Christmas. Here's $500." Like, what are you even doing? You don't have to do that.
The most generous
what are you
people
doing?
In the world.
Yeah,
it means
these
a lot.
people, they care so much, and the way they've gone to war, the way your people go to war for you, like it's a full-time job.
It's amazing. Yeah,
oh my god,
very humbling. Because for me, it's very easy to wake up in the morning and like forget about all this shit and be like, and wake up as just Ian again and be like, what am I going to do today? I don't know what's going on. And forget that like I'm a part of this whole bigger thing now. And it's so humbling always to remember how much of a difference you can make for other people without even realizing it.
I guess.
Which goes for small accounts too. Like you never know what you're going to do for someone else online. That's why I'm saying like I'm trying to say more and more right now to like more people should be making videos. Even if you think you're nobody, even if you're not trying to go viral, it's like videos is just, it's like we're in this era now where we all are sharing truth with each other. And you never know when the truth that you know is going to be really important for other people to hear. So I think it's such an important skill for like people to practice to like develop a skill that is somewhat AI proof, but it's also just important to be involved with everyone else, what we're all trying to do together.
I agree. I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for that with the small accounts, and he's absolutely right. With that, we're over. You guys, I love your faces. Ian, thank you again so much. Make sure you hit up the next show, which is right after this, right above this. It's Altered State. I don't know what they're talking about tonight. I'm sure it's something cool. And I'll see you guys next week, I guess.
Everybody follow Ship if you don't already.
Yeah, and everybody follow Ian if you don't already. God, we need more people to come in and smack people around, because Squall Strike loves us both. Sorry, I missed that one. Okay, we gotta go. I love your faces. Thank you guys. Take care. Tonight we're making one. Today for homemade. If you need a break from the politics, please consider subscribing to our Substack or subscribing to our ex-subscribers. Just good food, good friends, and good times. We'll see you later. Thanks, friends.